Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's finally here, WTA draw preview and prediction video, and it's for the final Grand Slam of the year. And I can't wait to get into this, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. The WTA side is just there's so many good players, and I feel like the depth in talent is actually a lot bigger, the pool of players, in comparison to the ATP. Like on the ATP, we've got Alcaraz and Djokovic right at the top. I think we can probably all agree on that. But going into this US Open, it's pretty open in all honesty. And I'm very much looking forward to it. There's going to be some cracking matchups. I haven't looked at the draw yet or the first round matchups. So we're going to go through it basically blind. And then on top of that, I'm going to very briefly have a quick chat about the projected quarterfinals, which I do have. So I will bring those up as well, discuss those, and then we're going to get into the detail. Pick each and every single match, and ultimately I will give you guys my winner. And look, let's see if I'm going to be right or not, because I have no idea who it's going to be yet. I want to go through the draw and actually think of it pragmatically. Before we get into it, though, remember to that like button, do subscribe if you're new, and do leave a rating or review if you're listening on a podcast platform. Right, projected quarterfinals. So, I mean, I think 2 out of the 4 are probable. The other 2, I think, are going to be unlikely. Now, these are the projected quarterfinals if the seeds, the top 8 seeds, make their way through, right? As you would expect them to do on paper, but in reality, it barely ever happens that you get all top 8 seeds making the quarterfinals. So on the top half, we've got Swiatek and Gauff. That is a really good one, especially after Gauff beat Swiatek recently as well. And I was impressed with her in Cincinnati against Swiatek as well. Rybakina Sakkari. Now, I would love to say that Sakkari is going to make the quarters. I would be surprised. Although, let's see what her draw's like, because she might have a good draw. Rybakina, she's been struggling with a few injuries, etc. as well. And at Wimbledon, she had a horrific draw. Let's see if she's got a horrific draw here. Because I've heard murmurs that she does, but I haven't looked at it properly. So let's see whether that's correct or not. Then on the bottom half, we've got Jessica Pegula, who I think there'll be a lot of high hopes on her to make at least the quarterfinals, after winning Montreal. And then, yes, she lost in Cincinnati, but there's a bit of an overhang, I think, or hangover from that win. And yeah, there'll be massive expectation on her. How does she handle it? We'll see. And Caroline Garcia would be her opponent. Now, I don't see Caroline Garcia going that far unless she picks up some steam. She has a couple of opponents early doors who are stylistically good for her, which we'll see in a second. I think it's going to be tougher to make the quarterfinals. And then the quarterfinal, which I think everyone would love to see, although it's a bit of a shame that's a quarterfinal, not a semi-final or even a final, is Ons Jabeur versus Aryna Sabalenka. Ons Jabeur was the finalist last year at the US Open as well, and she's replicated what she did last year at Wimbledon, which is make the final there. Can she do the same in the US Open? Not sure. Not sure. She hasn't had a great couple of tournament in Cincinnati. It wasn't the best. She picked up a little bit of an injury as well. She lost to Sabalenka. She has beaten Sabalenka, though, of course, in the past. It's a bit of a 50-50 toss-up if they're both fit, that is. But Sabalenka is in my opinion, the most consistent player this year in terms of results. So she's definitely a hot commodity right now. And she's a tough player to play against. Right. That's our projected quarterfinals. Let's get into the draw. Iga Swiatek tops the seedings, no surprises there. She will play Rebecca Peterson, which I have to say, by the way, that's not, in my opinion anyway, that is not an easy draw. Not an easy draw whatsoever. Because Rebecca Peterson is a young, up-and-coming player. She could cause the problems, we'll see, but I think Swiatek should come through it. But then we've got Nagunu, a wildcard versus Seville. I'm going to go for Seville. Lauren Davis and Kovanic. I'm going to go for Lauren Davis. Cocciaretto to be a qualifier. Now, this is a really good matchup. Ostapenko versus Jasmine Paolini. Now, I've Really liked Jasmine Paolini's game for a long time. She hasn't had the best of results until recently, very recently, and it's good to see her getting some good results under her belt. Now, the question is, can she beat Ostapenko? A lot of that will be down to Ostapenko and how she plays. Is she going to come out and spray the ball around a lot of unforced errors, and not really have that type of rhythm that we know she can utilize? And look, let's be honest, she can beat anyone on her day. Her second serve is a bit of a weakness though, and that the only way to cover that up is by playing some pretty impressive, aggressive style tennis. Um, it's really tough. Really, really tough. I'm actually going to go for the upset. I'm going to go for Paolini to beat Ostapenko. Bit of a big call from me, but I'll go for it. I've got Cornet to beat Avanesian. I think Cornet should win that. And then Wang and Grabber. That's an interesting one. I'm going to go for Wang. Kudermetova and Pera. I would say Kudermetova. Kvitova and Buxa. Kvitova. Right, okay. Wozniacki's got to qualify. We'll go for Wozniacki. Now, obviously, we're going into this blind a little bit because we don't know who the qualifiers are or going to be yet. And also, it's been raining, so I think we're just going to have to march on with this and assume that the unseeded or seeded players will come through, but you just never know because qualifiers are very dangerous. Brady to come through against qualified 2, Lynette to beat Sasnovich, and Mertens to beat a qualifier. This is a really good first round match. Holy moly. What a good first round. We have Danielle Collins versus Linda Fravitsova. I'm going to go for Danielle Collins, given recent form, and also the fact it's going to be in the US. She does really feed off the crowd. Now, Mira Andreeva has a qualifier. We're going to go for Andreeva, the really exciting 16-year-old. I have very high hopes for her, not necessarily just now, but in the future going forward. She's a real talent. Coco Gauff to be a qualifier. Now, this what the hell? What in the world? Rybakina Kostyuk. Rybakina gets some horrific draws at slams. The Wimbledon draw was horrific. I mean, so even if she'd beaten Jabeur, she would have had Sabalenka in the semi-final. I mean, it's a shocker. Her draws are bad. She's number 14. And she's got Kostyuk in the first round. We'll go Rybakina. Kostyuk though, she's capable. She's very capable. She's had some good results recently as well. Some very good results. Right, Tomjanovic to beat Udvardy, and then we've got Kalinskaya to beat Shinyakova. Kastaya should beat Kayla Day, and Azarenka should beat Ferro as well. Sharif Zhu. We're going to go for Sharif. Batova in the qualifier. I'll go for Batova. Benches to beat Rakimova. Mukova should beat Storm Hunter. Freck to beat Navarro. I'm going to go Taylor Townsend to beat Gracheva. I think Townsend's going to... The crowd's going to be way behind her. And she's been loving life since coming back after having her child as well. She's been an incredible doubles player, of course, but she's picked up some good singles wins as well, including beating Jessica Pegula in a tournament. So, yeah, I reckon she can do something here. Sloane. Oh wow, Sloane Stevens versus Haddad Mayer. I mean, it's a tough one, because Sloane Stevens has won the US Open before. She is clearly at home on these courts, literally and figuratively. Haddad Mayer is an exciting player. She has power. She can be a bit erratic. I'm going to go for Sloane Stevens to frustrate her. That's my shout there. Kalinina and Sarah Cerebus Tormo. Kalinina should get through that. Right, Wang has a qualifier, so we will go for Wang. And then Schmidlova to beat Bandel. Sakari to beat Masarova. For one, Sakari doesn't have a horrific first round, so she'll be fine there, I think. And then we've got Caroline Garcia to be a qualifier. Katie Bolter Parry. That's a toss-up, honestly. I don't think either player are super comfortable on the hard court. I think Parry prefers a clay court. I think Bolter prefers a grass court. I'm going to go for Bolter, but it's a real toss-up in my opinion. Peyton Stearns to beat Tomova, I think. Now, this is a great matchup. Clara Tauson versus Potapova. Clara Tauson is just one rung below these really up-and-coming youngsters, I would say. She's not quite up there. She's had a couple of good wins, but nothing huge in terms of a consistent run beating top players. I'm going to go for her to do it, though, to beat Potapova, because why not? Let's be exciting. Alexandrova Fernandez. Now, this is a real great matchup as well, because a good clash of styles. Alexandrova, big server, big hitter. Fernandez is more of a grinder. She's going to try and just soak up the pressure, return well. Also, actually, it's worth noting, by the way, I should have noted this earlier. This year in the WTA, on the WTA side, at the US Open, for the first time, they're going to be using the heavy-duty Wilson US Open balls, which are exactly the same as the balls that the men use. Now, in prior years, they didn't use them. And I do think that's a bit of an advantage for the players who don't have as much power, i.e., your Fernandez's and Raducanu's, which makes sense as to why they made the final. That's not just the reason, but I feel like if you are a little bit underpowered or you don't have big power from the back of the court or on your serve, the normal duty balls would just fly a bit more. And I think it was Sabalenka was saying she struggled to control them sometimes. Swiatek said the same, although she went on, of course, to win it last year. Fernandez might struggle a bit because of that. Because these balls are not going to be as friendly for players that don't have bigger strokes. In saying that, though, the courts are playing a bit slower than prior years. Still going to be quick, but not as quick as the Australian Open and not as quick as the US Open last year. So kind of medium pace, medium fast. I'm going to go for Fernandez. It's a tough one to call, though. She could definitely lose that. Andreescu to beat Sarenko, although again, that's a tough first round. Andreescu has been a bit disappointing. She's also a bit of a doubt as well for this tournament, so hopefully she still does play, and hopefully she's fully recovered. Trevisan and Potentseva will go for Trevisan, and I'm going to go for Vondrousova to be a qualifier. Samsonova to beat Claire Liu, she's been in good form, Samsonova. Berger to beat Korpach, and then Keys to beat Rus. Svitolina to beat Friedsam, and Pavlyuchenkova to be a qualifier. Patricia Maria Tig, I think, will lose to Rebecca Marino. Oh, man. I mean, Jessica Pegula's got a horrific first round. What? Rybakina and Pegula, the third and fourth seeds, are probably like, what is going on here? I mean, first round of Camilla Giorgi, she is so dangerous. She could easily win this. Honestly, she could easily beat Pegula. Because on her day, and also, like, Pegula doesn't... I feel like when Giorgi plays someone who's got a massive, massive, massive serve, then fine. But generally speaking, I don't think this is a very straightforward match. I know actually Pegula does lead the head-to-head 6-1, but Giorgi is very up and down. When she's playing her best tennis, or close to her best tennis, this is a really tough match. I'm going to go for Pegula, but it's a tough one. Jabeur to beat Osorio, and I'm going to go for Brengel to beat Noskova. Tatiana Maria to beat Martic, and Buzkova to beat Kruger. Zheng Xinwen to beat Podoroska. Kai Kanepi's not been in great form recently, but we'll go for her to beat Strakova. And Montgomery to beat qualifier. Krejcikova to beat Bronzetti. Oh, man. Kasatkina's been done dirty here. Number 13 seed, she's got Alicia Parks. This literally has upset alert written all over it. Honestly. Thing is, it just depends on how Alicia Parks uses the crowd. If she is a bit daunted by how loud the crowd are and she kind of takes that as unnecessary anxious energy and pressure on herself, she may then struggle. But if she utilizes the crowd, which she should do, then I reckon she gets through it. So when I go for Alicia Parks to cause the upset, Kenin to beat Bogdan, and Badosa Williams. What a first round that is. Holy moly. I would like to think Venus Williams can do it. I think she can. But if Badosa it doesn't have the back issue, she should win. Right? Vekic should be a qualifier, same with Pliskova. Borel to beat Dollarhide. Burridge to beat Blinkova. Sabalenka to beat Zanevska. Right. Let's get through this. Swiatek to beat Seville. Davis beat Cocciaretto. Paolini Cornet. Toss up. I'm going to go Cornet though, with experience. Kunamoto to beat Wang. Kvitova Wozniacki. I think it's just a bit too early for Wozniacki, in all honesty. Yeah, Kvitova. Brady, Lynn. I'm going to go for Brady. She's played some decent tennis after her comeback. I'm going to go for Brady. Mertens, Collins will go for Collins. Andreeva, Goff. Horrible second round for both players. I think Coco Gauff will win. She beat her. What was it? At Wimbledon? I think it was. So yeah, I think she'll win. She should win. She's looked good after the Brad Gilbert addition. Rybakina has a horrific draw. What is this? Kostyuk first round, Tomjanovic second round. Tomjanovic made the semi or quarterfinals last year, right? That's a shocker. I'll go Rybakina, but I mean it's going to be tough. Kostya to beat Kalinskaya. Azarenka to beat Sharif. Azarenka on a hard court, man. Don't mess with her. Bencic to beat Betova. Mukova to beat Freck. Stevens, Townsend. They're really good friends, aren't they? Really good friends, I think. I think Stevens will win, though. Yeah. Kalinin to beat Wang. Sakari to beat Schwindlova. You know what? Bolter has a chance against Caroline Garcia here. Honestly, she does. I'm going to go for Caroline Garcia, though. Claire Tolson to beat Stearns. And an all-Canadian affair. Fernandez versus Andrescu. Fernandez, just because I have more trust in her body right now in terms of whether it's going to hold up or not. I think Andrescu's body at the moment is breaking down. She's been injured. I don't have a whole lot of confidence that she's going to be fully fit. Wondrusova to beat Trevisan, and then Samsonova and Begu. I'm going to go for Samsonova. Madison Keys be a qualifier. Svitolina Pavlyuchenkova. Svitolina. Pegula to beat Marino. Jabeur should beat Brengel. Buskova should beat Maria. Zheng Shunwen could easily lose. She could easily lose to Kai Kanepi. Honestly, this is a tough match, but we'll go for Zheng Shunwen. Kochikova Montgomery now. Kochikova is just all over the place. We're going to go for her, but she's not going to last very long in my draw, I don't think. Alicia Parks, Sophia Kenin. I'm going to go for. I'm high on Alicia Parks at the moment. We're going to go for Parks beat Kenin. Badosa Vekic. I'm going to go for Vekic. Could Badosa do it? Again, there's just so many question marks around a lot of these players, and they're like, are their bodies going to hold up? I have no idea. We'll go Vekic. Pliskova to beat Borel. Sabalenka to beat Burridge. I just don't think Burridge is going to be able to do anything there. Third round, Swiatek to beat Davis. Cornet to beat Kudermetova. Could Brady beat Kvitova? On a hard court, maybe. We'll go Kvitova, though. Gauff has got a shocker of a run, by the way. This is a terrible run. Coco Gauff's draw is not good. Neither's Rybakina's, neither's Pegula's. Third round of Danielle Collins. Like, what the heck? I'm gonna go for Goff, but it's a tough one. And look, Rybakina's route is just a nightmare. Castella third round. I mean, okay, we're Rybakina. Azarenka, Bencic. I hope we get this. This is a great match. Azarenka, Bencic. Can you imagine the shot making? I don't know. This is such a 50-50. I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna go for Azarenka. Mukova Stevens. That's a tough match for Mukova. She's been playing well though. I trust her. I'm gonna go Mukova. Sakari Kalinina, Sakari Garcia Towson. We're gonna go Towson. I don't see. Oh no, you know what? We'll go Garcia. We'll go Garcia. Let's go Garcia. Come on, let's not be silly. Fernandez, Vondrousova. And this is. I'm gonna be honest. If you love attacking tennis, there's no point watching this match if this happens. This is gonna be a lot of high top spin, cross court forehands being traded, long rallies. This is gonna be whoever can last longest in these rallies. I'm gonna go for Vondrousova. Samsonova, Keys. We'll go for Samsonova. Or should we go for Keys? It's a tough one, isn't it? No, I'll go Samsonova. Pegula to beat Svitolina. I mean, that's going to be a tough one for Pegula. Pegula's got a bad draw. Bad draw. Pegula, Rybakina, Gauff. I'll say it again. Terrible draws. Jabeur, Buzkova. We'll go Jabeur. Zheng Xinwen to beat Krejcikova. I mean, there you go. Krejcikova. She's not going to last, in my opinion. Park to beat Vekic. Now, this could be a tough one, Pliskova, but she's not been in very good form, though, has a Czech player. Sabalenka should beat her quite convincingly. Right, round of 16, here we go. Swiatek Cornet. Swiatek. Swiatek's got an easy route, by the way. I mean, this is an easy route. She's almost like nailed on for the final if this carries on like this. Gauff Kvitova. I'm gonna go for Gauff. I mean, if Gauff beats all of these players, by the way, and she goes deep, she's then, in my eyes, like one of the. She is like a nailed on one of the favorites, like two or three, like second or third favorite, because she would have beaten some really good players, and she's young, so I don't think it matters if they're longer matches. Rebecca Nazarenka, and she's young, and she's not just she's young, but she's very athletic, and it looks like her recovery process is good, so she doesn't tend to be looking fatigued ever. Rebecca Nazarenka, tough match for Rebecca now. Tough, 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 tough. I don't think she's gonna last that long. I'm gonna go Azarenka. I just think it's gonna be so hard for Rebecca now. Her draw is horrific. If it wasn't so bad, I'd have her going deeper, but and with like the injury concerns as well, yeah, don't see it. Mukova to beat Sakari. I mean, Mukova seems to be a nightmare for Sakari. So go for Sakari for Mukova. Sorry, even Vondrousova to beat Garcia. I think she will frustrate her. Pegula to beat Samsonova. This is a tough one for Jabeur, by the way. Zheng Xin, when she has the tools to beat Jabeur, I think Jabeur might be able to frustrate her though with the drop shots, the slices. I don't think she'll enjoy playing against Jabeur. I don't think a lot of players do. Sabalenka Parks. Now, Parks could cause issues for Sabalenka. I think Sabalenka, if she plays how she's been playing throughout the whole year, she should be too good. Quarterfinals. Right, so our quarterfinals, the only two that we've stuck with are Swiatek Gauff and Jabeur Sabalenka. The ones in between, Pegula is the only survivor from the projected quarterfinals. Interesting. Look, I mean, this is really, really tough. Does Coco Gauff do? I mean, she's going to have to pull off something special to win this slam, or even get to semi-finals, because her route is a shocker. Honestly, it's a shocker. I'm going to go for it to do it. The only thing that I'm thinking about is that the courts are going to be a bit slower and the heavy duty balls. I think it really does suit Swiatek. The conditions really do, and she's just lost to Gauff. You imagine she's going to be able to adapt and evolve. She's just so good. But you know what? It's just I've got to be different. I just feel like the US Open can be random. It's been very random on the men's side. I guess Alcaraz wasn't too random last year, but and I guess you could say Medvedev as well. But they were first time winners, right? On the women's side, Raducanu was very random. Last year wasn't random. Swiatek. I think we're going to get another random in quote unquote year. So I'm going to go Gauff to beat Swiatek. I also think Swiatek hasn't been playing as well as she has been. Well, one, she hasn't been playing as well as she did last year for sure. And I don't think she's been playing incredible tennis. But she's so good that she can play her average level or even below that and still beat 90% of the tour pretty comfortably. But I think if Goff plays how she played in Cincinnati at the US Open, and it is a good yardstick because it's still best of three. On the men's, it's a bit different because it's a different format. Then look, if she beats the players to get to this stage, I think she will have a lot of confidence. I think she'll beat Swiatek. It's a big call, I know, but I'm going to go for it because why not? Then Mukova Azarenka. Again, does Mukova's body hold up? Azarenka's got the experience. Mukova's got the form. We'll come back to that. Pegula Vondrousova. I'm going to go for Pegula. I'm going to go for Pegula. Jabeur Sabalenka. You know what? If Sabalenka looked really good the last couple of weeks, I almost feel like she'd be nailed on because Jabeur hasn't been playing great, in honesty, either. She hasn't been. But she made the final of Wimbledon. She's got confidence after making the final last year as well. I do think she has belief in the matchup, even though she lost the most recent match. She had a niggle during it. If she's overcome that niggle, then I think she does make this quarterfinal stage. I'm just trying to think the slower courts and the heavy duty balls. They might suit Jabeur a little bit more. I own the balls actually for Sabalenka. I think she'll feel like she's got more control. She's got the power, right? So it doesn't matter. She can just hit through the court no matter what. But the slower conditions, I think Jabeur might like it a bit more. And when I say slower, with again, it's all relative, right? With slower to previous years. I'm gonna go for. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure about these ones. Mukova Azarenka. The problem is, I just feel like if I go big on Mukova, she's not going to do it. And Azarenka's a pretty left field one, though, as well. She's not made like a semi final of a slam in a while. I'm going to go for Mukova. I'm going to go for Mukova. Jabeur Sabalenka. You know what? Let's let's take a let's take a punt. We'll go Jabeur. Oh man, you know what? I'm not even joking. These semi-finals that I've picked, almost said it's almost nailed on that none of these are going to happen now. Oh, it's hilarious. It's so open, man. I love it, the WTA tour. The matchups are just phenomenal. Coco Gauff, Karolina Mukova. Gauff. She beat her recently in Cincinnati, of course, in the final. Pegula and Jabeur. It's a great matchup, you know. Great matchup. The question is, who? So head to head is 4-2 Jabeur. I don't know. There's still question marks there over her fitness. That's my main concern. That's what's really worrying me. Now, 3 wins on hard court to the 1 of Pegula. The last time they played, Jabeur won in the WTA final. Sorry, even. Well, let's go Jabeur. I've gone pretty big on Jabeur, haven't I? I don't know if she's going to even make it this far. So I've gone for Coco Gauff and Jabeur in the final. Number 6 seed versus number 5. You know what? It's almost like crazy. It's actually, even though Jabeur's made 3 Grand Slam finals, I almost feel like going into this US Open, it's actually crazier to pick Jabeur to win than Coco Gauff, even though Coco Gauff's only made 1 final, and it wasn't a US Open final either. Okay, stylistically, let's just very briefly think about this stylistically. I, a lot of it comes down to if Jabeur handles the occasion because, like, she played so well during Wimbledon, then in the final she just capitulated. I'm just trying to think. She's going to make it awkward for Gauff, no doubt. Does Gauff's new confidence in her forehand, does that hold up? I think serve wise, she's going to have some success, Gauff, but Jabeur's return is very, very solid. She should be able to neutralize it in instances. And then if we're talking about backhand to backhand, a slice of Jabeur into the backhand of Gauff is not going to be as effective because Gauff's backhand is actually super solid. Um, but she'll slice down the line. She'll try and make it awkward for Gauff. Both like to come forward as well. The drop shot's not going to be as effective against Gauff. She chases it down really well. She's extremely athletic. Likes coming forward as well in transition. She's got a good net game. Return game's not bad. Jabeur's going to need to serve well. I mean, I kind of feel like Coco Gauff, in terms of the style, the only way that I see Jabeur winning is if she makes it really, which she can do, make it really uncomfortable for Coco Gauff. And the head-to-head is 3-2. Coco Gauff's won the one match they played on hard court, which was in 2020, though, in Lexington. That's ages ago. Both players have improved, no doubt. I'm going to go for Coco Gauff. Coco Gauff. That's my pick. Guys, let me know in the comment section below who you pick. Thank you very much, guys. Stay safe and well. We'll see you on the next video.